Record on. Hey, part two. Whoa.
Instantaneous. That was magical.
All right. We have three matchups, a little bit of trivia, and some conversation for your pleasure upcoming.
We got your matchup, Phill, against Brigadiers, which we talked about. Brigadiers has the win. Crazy. Yeah, I think he had the lowest score last week. That's wild. A guy who had like such a 10-game winning streak, and then all of a sudden there's the lowest. Now Drew has the longest winning streak at 7. We've had 3 really long winning streaks this year, so craziness. So for you, Phill, first, I mean, you got to start at the top. I think this week, Taysom is the play over Lamar. Cleveland's defense is pretty legit. I know that Titans got a lot going in the second half after they kind of packed it in, but they've pretty much slowed down every big name that they've gone up against for quite a while now. For one scenario I can see is maybe like it's one of those games where Wilson hits a big play on the sideline and his guy gets out at like the 2-yard line, and all of a sudden I got Chris Carson down for 3 touchdowns this week. Ooh. So I think he's gonna crack 100. And then I was looking on your bench, and if there's like some injuries that pop up this week, like if Swift can't go, or if there's a couple guys you have on your bench that I might like Kerryon Johnson against Green Bay. I mean, if he's gonna get 15 carries, there's no reason to think he wouldn't crack 40, 50 points. And then like if somehow P. Ryan ends up being the guy, if something happens to like Bernard or something, you play him against Dallas. Dallas can't do anything on run defense. Jalen Smith and Leighton Vander Esch that look like they've never played linebacker before. It's really it's so mind-boggling that they're that far out of position. It's really troubling for 2 talented players like that. And one thing I kind of like Claypool at Buffalo. I don't love it, but I kind of like it. Buffalo's been putting up some points lately, and Steelers throw the ball a ton. So, and then for Brigadiers, I gotta wonder what Justin Herbert's mindset is after that thrashing. You know what I mean? 45-0. I was hoping for some garbage time for Keenan Allen, and I'm like, I doubt he's even on the field. You know what I mean? Like, why would you even have him out there? But as of right now, Brigadiers doesn't have another backup option because Breeze is still out, looks like. He doesn't have Tua on the roster anymore, so we'll see. This could be one of those boom weeks for Tyler Lockett. Tyler Lockett's like Mr. Nothing, and then 3 touchdowns. You know what I mean? So that it depends on who gets the scores versus Seahawks. I think that's going to be, a big matchup, play a big role in this matchup. Possibly have Fred Warner biting the hand that once fed him. He was a big Philly style guy. Now he's on there. And then I was looking through his bench. I noticed he has Jakeem Grant on the bench. And I want the Dallas Cowboys to take note of what the Dolphins did when Jakeem Grant got messed up on that punt return. Even the coach was out there ready to fight somebody. When Andy Dalton got blasted, you go, oh, what? Like, oh, my God. It just reminds me that, you know what I mean? You're a team. You're supposed to be a family, a brotherhood. And
is that a shot at Mike McCarthy?
That's a shot at Mike McCarthy and the whole Dallas organization this year. And then I was noticing he'll have to make a roster change because Mark Andrews is off of COVID now. But it looks like DJ Moore is on, so he could play the old flip-flop and not have to drop anybody.
He did that. He's got it updated.
He did it? Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got Andrews then.
So I think you have a really good chance this week, Phil. Like I said, whoever scores the touchdowns in the Seattle game, if Herbert doesn't bounce back, which he may not, I mean, they really have nothing to play for, to be honest. And if anything, Atlanta, the coach is playing for a job either as the coach next year or on another team. So if Carson scores the touchdowns, if Lockett doesn't score, even if DK scores, that doesn't affect either one of you. Then, yeah, I think you could take it. And that's why I said I think Withers might make the playoffs.
Dang. Go ahead, Phil. Talk about
All right. So, yeah, this is an interesting matchup. You would have thought like 3 weeks ago I might not have said that. I feel bad for Brian because the injury bug has really hit his team at the wrong time. He's got no Joe Mixon. He's got no Gibson, it looks like.
Yeah,
so
he's
that's
doubtful.
two running backs that he would be able to rely on for an easy 30, 40 points, and now he's not going to have that available to him. Luckily for him, he has depth. He's got Eckler to plug in there. He's got Kareem Hunt to plug in there, and James Conner. So good for him that he's got that depth.
For sure.
But his wide receiver, he's got Lockett. I am concerned about Lockett. Best case scenario is that, DK is getting those throws instead of Lockett, but it certainly could go either way. I think it'll depend on how the Jets line up their defense against Seattle as to where Russell throws those targets. It's interesting with Herbert. He might be a little starstruck right now. He might be kind of losing some confidence after he tore it up. And Atlanta, organizations tank, players and coaches don't. So I think, those players want to prove that they weren't as bad as everything looked at the beginning of the season. So, hopefully that plays out for me. I want to justify a couple things on my roster that Mike brought up. Honestly, it's fluid. I might make some changes here before things lock in. But right now, what is up there is what I like. Lamar looked kind of like his old self last night. So I'm hoping that that's a little bit of momentum, a little bit of confidence. It was a tough choice between him and Taysom. They're both playing decent defenses, so there wasn't really an obvious matchup pick, in my opinion. And then I ended up going with Jamison Crowder. Only picked him over Claypool because I love the matchup. Seattle's defense has been god-awful, and when the Jets get stuff going, it is Crowder who is the one getting it going. So I know he's not projected for as much points as Claypool, but I think he's the safer play, and I think he's a safer floor, and he's also got a higher potential ceiling. And then I wanted to get the 3 running backs in. Of course, I got to get Carson in. Melvin Gordon looks like he's playing better, and he's getting the carries. And Ronald Jones off of the bye week, I wanted to get him in as well. So that was why I ended up taking Claypool out. But things are fluid. I might make a change there. Might get Claypool in and sub one of those guys out. But for right now, I'm actually pretty confident with this roster. I'm certainly not going to pick myself for the upset, but it's definitely a ripe upset to occur. It's going to be very interesting. I really feel bad for Brian because if he loses this game, he could miss the playoffs with a 10-4 record and with a 10-game winning streak sandwiched between 2 losses at the beginning and at the end. I feel bad for the guy, but those are the breaks.
We're all about symmetry here in the BFL, so that would be very clean. 0-2, 0-2, 10-0.
It would be clean. Phil, here are my letters for you. FF. That stands for fun factor. It'll be a lot of fun to watch Chase Claypool on Sunday Night Football. Just saying. I'm all about that right now for the teams that are out of it. And plus,
that might have been why I decided to go with Lamar because I got Lamar Monday night. That might have been a factor.
And Claypool is a touchdown machine. I love that Mike said the revenge angle with Fred Warner. That makes my night. I love that comment. And here's the thing about Brian. He's freaking built for this. He has Antonio Gibson doubtful. He has Joe Mixon on the IR. 2 just donkeys. Well, I mean, look at the guys he's starting. James Conner, Kareem Hunt, Austin Eckler. Brian McDonald is built for this. I hope you're listening, Brian. Do not despair. You are built for this. You're going to the playoffs, and you're going to do well, okay? I think Brian's going to take this one home because I believe in him. I believe in Justin Herbert. When Tyrod Taylor got, a syringe to the lung, who stepped right in? Justin Herbert. Like he's been through scarier moments than a big loss last week. I'm all aboard the Brian McDonald train. 2-2 baby into the playoffs. Sorry Ryan. I believe in you too, Ryan, but I think Brian is built for this.
To quote Mike Tomlin, who was obviously the coach of the Steelers, when they lost to the Packers in the Super Bowl, they got the ball back with a chance to go down and win the game. And Mike Tomlin told his team, just because you're built for it, don't mean it's going to happen. You got to make it happen. So Brian's team has to go make it happen. We'll see what happens.
We'll see what that said, I do not like Brandon Cooks in my Bears defenses might be finally motivated. So therefore I do not like Brandon Cooks in this match. All right. That was fun. White Thunder and Cadillac. Should we do it, Mike?
Is that who's next? Yeah.
Oh, sorry. No. Go. Yeah, that was the next.
Yeah. It is.
Okay.
It is. I'm just. All right. So, for the Thunder, hey, winning is contagious. It could happen. 2-game winning streak. Why not? No, it's probably not going to happen. I got for both of these guys. They both had big weeks from Raiders last week. You talked about the Ruggs play, but Darren Waller. Are you kidding me? Last week, I have an advantage over everybody with Kelsey, but apparently not when Darren Waller is going to snag 200 yards worth. That was just absolutely. I was just pulling my hair out watching that happen. Like he was making it look easy. He was even tossing guys around. Like, oh my God. But the Jets are not the Colts, so I don't see as big a numbers coming from those guys this week. For Cadillac, next week I think is a tricky week for him because he's very Chief dependent. Chiefs play the Saints next week, boys. Saints in New Orleans. That defense is nasty right now, and they get after it. So next week might be the week that Caddy's vulnerable. Like I said, maybe I can dodge him in the playoffs. Who knows? Lot to happen between now and then. Looks like he's got CMC in the lineup. I see he's still questionable. Is he going to play? Have you heard anything? I mean, what's the point in playing him if you're the Panthers? You got all that money invested in him. Is there really a point to rush him back?
So yeah, if he plays, how many carries is he gonna get? Like, I wouldn't put him in a workhorse role.
But every time he plays, he touches the ball 40 times. So it's like, I don't know. And then I think he's got to find a way to get Corey Davis in the lineup this week. Big game last week. He's had a really nice season. Not really anybody's talking about him, but former, what was he, like number 6 overall pick or something like that, having a really nice year, and they're playing Jacksonville, and AJ Brown's the number 1, so he's probably going to get their second best corner and have plenty of opportunities. So yeah, Caddy, he's a machine right now. He's won 7 in a row, and he scores like 9 million points a week, and I hate him so much, and I want him to fall ill and. No, I'm just kidding. I don't want any of those things to happen. I love you, Drew. I love you.
All right. Hey, a question. Looking at White Thunder, and we talked about team names earlier, how long has White Thunder had that period in his team name? Forever?
Too long.
Or is this a new thing? I think it's a new thing, isn't it?
Yeah, and I thought Thunder was capitalized before.
I'm telling you, we got some weird stuff going on with team. Like Goody's renaming his team, gets the W with the emoji. Kyle added a period, and he got the win. Maybe.
I never noticed the period before, so I'm on your side, John. I don't think it was.
I'm telling you, I think this is new. I think this is a new thing.
I don't appreciate that. I don't like it. He should go with the lightning bolt emoji. That's what he should do.
Maybe we should all have like an emoji week, and I could have like a can or I don't know, steel. Big Philly. Phil, would you have like a Philly cheesesteak sandwich maybe?
Yeah, there you go.
And then Mike could take a picture of his balls.
Yeah.
I don't have a ton on this matchup, you guys.
Maybe some gum.
I want McCaffrey to play because he's Christian McCaffrey, and he's fun to watch. Let's see what he can do. he's got Naheem Hines in there. Is Drew like playing like a joke on us with this lineup right now, or not? No insult, Drew. You're a smart dude. You have a great team, but you have a bizarre lineup at this moment. So I don't think you need your A game lineup to win, but it's interesting.
He's had Hines in there a lot.
Yeah, and it's worked well. The kind of interesting line with Jamal Williams for Kyle is that there's a lot of speculation. You guys probably know more than me. There's a lot of speculation that Jamal Williams is going to be on the Green Bay Packers next year, and they're going to move on from Aaron Jones just for the price tag. So you wonder if they start kicking the tires a little even more on Williams and trying to see what he can do or try and give him a little more love. Kirk Cousins has a really tough matchup. And Henry Ruggs probably won't go off against a good Indianapolis team. Yeah, this is Cadillac. Phil, you want to go ahead and give your thoughts on this one?
Yeah. So the thing that is kind of sucks for Drew this week, he's still got the big projection there, but he's got questionables all over the lineup. Yeah. Tyreek Hill, questionable. Christian McCaffrey, questionable. Even on his defense, Bobby Wagner, questionable. And then the guys you'd plug in potentially in those spots, Todd Gurley, questionable. Josh Jacobs, questionable. DeAndre Swift, questionable. So the guy's got a deep team, but it's a deep team full of questionables right now. And, I would get Christian McCaffrey out of there unless there's some sort of news that says he's starting and that Carolina says they're going to treat it like it's a normal game and feed him. But then again, who the hell does he have to put in that spot? Maybe it's Robbie Anderson that goes into that spot. I don't know. It's not really a great week for him, despite what Yahoo is saying with the projections. And I wanted to piggyback off of something that Mike said earlier. He talked about biting the hand that feeds. Well, I think that's the situation with Waller. Kyle had Waller at the beginning of the season. That was he made a trade before the draft to have him as a keeper. So that could be a situation where the guy he traded away could have a monster game.
I will give Kyle his 4th round pick back to veto the trade.
And I don't have a lot to say for Kyle. With a guy starting Duke Johnson and Jamal Williams, there's really not a ton to say. Maybe Deion Johnson can get him another touchdown to propel him to a victory on the defensive side. But he's got an 8% chance if you go by the projections right now. I do think the projection's a little wrong. I don't think Cadillac Crew's going to get 569. He probably won't even get 500, but he'll easily get 450, and I don't see how Kyle can put up 450 points this week.
There it is.
So congrats, Drew.
Congrats, Drew. Good year.
Last one.
Go to the last one.
We had Dom and Seth, which I thought was a little more important. Unfortunately, it's too bad. For Dom, I see this as a week where you got Josh Allen against Pittsburgh, or you got Tannehill against Jacksonville. I think money's on Tannehill. He's a good player. Obviously, Derrick Henry draws a lot of attention. He's got 2 stud wide receivers, a great tight end. I think Tannehill's an easy play. He's got some, like Chubb versus Baltimore is not a great matchup, but Chubb's matchup proof. CEH, what's going on with him? Didn't he get in trouble in practice last week or something? And then, he was active, but he didn't get any carries.
I didn't hear that. I just know he's a bust. No, I didn't hear that, but that's interesting to me. That would explain some things.
Yeah, I guess he was sick, but not COVID sick. But then, he got into a fight in practice or something. But he was active, but I don't think he had any carries. But it's not like Le'Veon Bell tore it up in his absence. So if he's out there and healthy, I think he probably gets the bulk of the touches. Otherwise, with Antonio Gibson being doubtful, he's got McKissick on the bench. He can move up. I don't know who would move over because you got Zeke at Cincy. And like I said, Chubb's matchup proof, and CEH has the higher ceiling. So I don't know who you'd play him over, but McKissick on the bench is tempting, especially because he's such a pass-catching threat, and Alex Smith will definitely dump the ball off to him. And then for Seth, we talked about it already, but Rogers Adams is absolutely insane. As a guy that stashed Alan Lazard all year, I'm like thinking that at some point a team's got to just key on Adams and try and take him away, and Lazard's going to reap the benefits. But it ain't this week because Detroit doesn't have the personnel to do it. So I'm not starting Lazard this week, that's for sure. I'm thinking Miles Sanders gets more work this week with Jalen Hurts starting in New Orleans. They're probably going to do a lot of quick stuff, want to establish a ground game. So I see Miles Sanders probably touching the ball 20 to 25 times, which could look good for Seth. Another thing for Seth is Jarvis Landry starting to look like Jarvis Landry from Dolphin days. He's looking like a number one wide receiver. They seem to be playing better without Odell Beckham. I'm just saying. It's kind of weird. But this is a week where maybe you can get Peterson in the lineup against the Packers. He's had lots of success against them. And if Swift's not going to play, maybe you throw in Adrian Peterson. And then obviously he's got Levante David back that he'll probably be putting in the lineup this week too, after he was on a bye last week.
He's already got him in.
Oh, does he? Okay. Well, then, yeah, my money would be on Seth, but I wouldn't be surprised if Dom pulls off the win, especially if he can get a big game from Tannehill, but we'll see what he does.
My turn, Phil, or what do you think? Want me to go?
Yeah, go.
I kind of hope that Dom wins, just so there could be a tie atop the infantry division as far as record goes. Let's see. Just looking at the matchups, I'm super disappointed in I don't know if it's the Miles Sanders usage or it's just Philadelphia's broken, but I think we'd all agree that the dude is really, really talented. He's not getting a ton of carries or touches. Boston Scott's getting more work, and I don't understand that. I don't know if it's a health thing or not. Raheem Mostert started the year blazing, but it seems like he had the big injury too. Yeah, I love that Mike said this is a Peterson week because I'd love to like try and wiggle him into my lineup, but do you bench him or do you play him over Mostert? Do you play him? I'd probably play him over Sanders. I think I would. And anybody want to bet? Should we do a little bet? Miles Sanders versus Adrian Peterson. And I need a few points coming back to me on this, so it's not going to be straight up. I think it's going to be close.
All right. Like, what do you think of them?
Okay, I think that – no, okay, let's do straight up. Let's do straight up points. And if Peterson outrushes or outscores Sanders, you guys – I need 2 orange crushes from each of you. But if it's the other way around, if Peterson is less than, then I only owe you guys 1 orange crush each.
I see. How about 1 for 9.5 points?
So he's got to be within 9.5 points?
I like the first agreement.
Okay, I got the first agreement with Phil. And then with Mike, I need 15 points.
I'm out.
It's off. Okay. It's off. All right. I appreciate that. And Mike, you're spot on, dude. Jarvis Landry's balling. Mm-hmm. And is he balling because Baker's balling? I'm not sure. Can you imagine Seth's team if he had a healthy Kenny Golladay all year? Like, Seth would be a monster.
Yeah.
And just he has just enough depth that if Seth was more active in trading, like, Seth could be a monster. That said, no one wants to play that team in the playoffs. I don't blame Dom for rolling with Josh Allen right here. I think he's almost unbenchable with the way they use him on the goal line is for rushing touchdowns. Like, he's choice number 1 on the goal line. I love Ryan Tannehill, and I rode with Kyler and Tannehill for a lot of my year too. And then for some reason I cut Tannehill because I'm terrible at this game. And yeah, CH was just a bust. Zeke was just a bust. I mean, Dom was built for a championship run, but he just has the wrong guys. Like, he had the right idea with what he did. What do you think, Phil?
So a few things. Dom blew it when he crapped the bed last week, losing to Goody. This should have been the most interesting matchup of the week. Also, it should have been the most interesting matchup of the season. Would have been for the division, but Dom crapped the bed. He lost to Goody, a team he never should have lost to.
Dang, man. How do you really feel?
It is what it is. Got to bring the heat every once in a while. Now, as far as picking a winner in this matchup, I think it's going to be tough. It's unfortunate that doesn't mean anything, like we were just talking about, because it's tough to pick a winner. Both teams, I look down their roster, there's guys that I love, and there's guys that I hate. So if we start on, Seth, the individual one, I'm not nuts about Devontae Parker in that matchup. Miles Sanders, I agree with what you guys said. Miles Sanders is a stud, but what's his workload going to be? And then New Orleans, as Mike talked about earlier, their defense has been on point for the last, 6-7 weeks. So that's a tough matchup. I still would keep him in the lineup over Adrian Peterson, but that's only because Adrian Peterson's the option. If he had, somebody a little bit better, I would say to get him out. That projection there's no way that projection is right at 40 points. I do love Mostert. I think Mostert should have a good game against Washington. Landry, I know he's been playing pretty good as of late, but Baltimore's defense is pretty doggone good. So I don't actually love that play. And then you go to the other side. Michael Thomas is questionable, and we talked about last week that he's rated below a lot of kickers this year. So don't love that. Ridley, you don't know what's going to happen there, but I think Ridley's in a good spot. Nick Chubb's, even against a tough Baltimore team, I love Chubb. I don't love Zeke. I don't love Edwards-Helaire. I think he did hit the rookie wall, and then there's some usage issues in Kansas City as well. Josh Allen I love, but maybe not so much against Pittsburgh. So the reason why I'm going to make the pick is twofold. To take the individual one is because he's got that Rodgers-Adams stack that eliminated you, John. You know all about that Rodgers-Adams stack. And they should be able to put up a ton of points against Detroit because everybody puts up a ton of points against Detroit. And then his defense, he's got the best defense in our league. He's got TJ Watt, he's got David, he's got the two best safeties in fantasy with Budda Baker and Simmons from Denver. So I think the defense and then the Rodgers-Adams stack should definitely be enough to make the difference.
How about this bet? Josh Allen plus Adrian Peterson for me, and you take Tannehill and Miles Sanders. Straight up points.
Yeah, no thanks.
Me?
No thanks.
Yeah.
Straight up points for a 2 crush?
2 crush.
Done.
So let's clarify. You have Ryan Tannehill plus Miles Sanders.
Yeah.
And I have Josh Allen and Adrian Peterson.
Yeah.
All right.
Easy.
Do you want me to send you my address? Like you can put it in your phone right now for Amazon, so you can send
Easy
it.
money.
Let's go. Gotta make something exciting with the bets.
And as far as the 2 best safeties in fantasy, Jordan Poyer would like a word.
Go.
Well, when I looked at it, I didn't look at it this week, but when I looked at it the week before, those were the top 2 scorers in fantasy at safety were Baker and Simmons. It may have changed, but
even after the bye week,
Poyer's a stud.
Even after the bye week, Devin White's still the top defensive scorer. Poyer's number 2. So I got the top 2 defensive scores.
Okay.
But they didn't do – my defense did very poorly last week. 29 points was my best. So it was an anomaly last week. So we'll see.
Hey, we're on our final 10 minutes. Do you guys have any trivia? I have one.
I got one.
I don't.
Mike, you want to go first? Or you want me to go first?
You can go first. You got the graphic.
Okay. The 4 highest non-scoring. Sorry, just kidding. The 4 highest scoring players that aren't QBs, not on rosters, are all wide receivers. Can you name the 4 unrostered wide receivers that are the highest scoring?
Will Fuller.
Will Fuller. That was the easy one.
I can see it kind of.
You can see the top of their names. Sorry, that's for the next part. Will Fuller. Who's next? And I can't move that. I'm such an idiot because I can't move that right now because we're in present mode. I remember them though. One player is on waivers right now, so that says he was just on a team.
This is a hard question.
It's a very hard question. One NFC, at least. So just kidding. Can't say that. Two AFC, one NFC.
I think it's got to be like somebody who got hurt and got dropped because they're hurt.
One of them is on a team with a current COVID outbreak. You guys know the Panthers situation with COVID?
Oh, okay.
So there's your clue, Carolina.
Oh, was it Chris Samuel?
Curtis Samuel.
Curtis Samuel, sorry.
Curtis Samuel. The other one is on he's having a resurgent season after moving from East to a new team in the West. He's an AFC player.
From East to West. Resurgent season.
He traded the green for the black.
Oh, Nelson Aguilar.
Correct. Nice job.
Okay.
The last player had a couple weeks ago really suffered from terrible quarterback play.
I forgot that I dropped Aguilar.
And he has the last player has two first names. His first and last name are both first names. Yeah. If you know me long enough, you know I joke about people who have two first names.
And this is AFC, right?
AFC, same division as Nelson Aguilar. Last week struggled with terrible quarterback play.
Okay.
So Chargers.
No. I'm sorry. Maybe I mean 2 weeks ago. What team had a terrible quarterback situation 2 weeks ago?
Oh, the Broncos.
Correct. Two first names. So his first name and his last name are first names. He's Irish.
I can't. All I can think of is Judy, and then they had.
I know he's rostered.
Tim,
and then Cortland.
Jerry Judy is a two first name too. That's amazing. His name is Tim Patrick.
Tim Patrick.
Oh, Patrick. Okay.
I wouldn't have got that if you gave me all that.
I gave you both names. He's over 300 points this year. Well done, Tim Patrick. All right, Mike, your trivia. That was a really hard one.
Okay. So the most completions in the league belongs to Ben Roethlisberger, which I think is kind of a surprise. But he's tied at fourth for the most incompletions. Who are the other top four for most incompletions?
I looked at a stat like this, I want to say last week. Carson Wentz is one of them, right?
Carson Wentz is the worst. He has 186.
Yeah, I was trying
I'm shocked. I'm shocked.
I was trying to get a bad Carson Wentz stat too. That's the only one
Russell
I have.
Wilson.
Nope.
No. Derek Carr.
Nope. One's a rookie, and he's tied.
Herbert.
Yeah, Herbert has 160, same as Big Ben.
Oh, that surprises me.
And the other two are both former MVPs that have played for a long time.
Tom Brady.
Yeah.
Good one. Rodgers?
Nope.
He never throws incompletions. Patrick Mahomes.
Cam Newton.
Nope.
Ooh, that was a good guess.
He's played his whole career with the same team.
Drew Brees. Oh, no, he hasn't played, dumbass.
No. He was the third overall pick out of Boston College.
Matthew Ryan. Two
Matt
first names.
Ryan. All right. So
I forgot Matt Ryan won the MVP.
Matty Ice.
the incompletions don't seem to be just taking too much away from their scoring. Wentz and Ryan are 22nd and 23rd in scoring still overall. Brady and Herbert are both in the top 10 at 8 and 9. So even though they have a ton of incompletions, they're still in the top 10 in scoring, Brady and Herbert.
Yeah, it's just that volume. Like, they have a ton of incompletions because they pass so much because they do get so many completions.
Yep.
I'm glad your question ended with Matty Ice, because I just wanted to ask you guys a non-football question. Do you enjoy crushed ice or ice cubes? What's the preference?
Cube.
Yeah, definitely not crushed. And in my whiskey, I like the big whiskey balls. I even have a thing that makes them in my freezer. So yeah, I don't like the crushed ice.
The balls don't melt as fast.
That's
right.
Yeah, I think if I'm having like a strong drink, alcoholic drink, definitely cubes. But guys, if I'm having like a pop or something from, I like the crushed in a pop. It's like a slush.
You have to drink it fast. I do like the ice chips. I like to chew on ice, but I like a big glass of ice water full of ice, and then like you drink it, and then after about 30 minutes, the ice gets like that perfect texture where you can just.
Yeah. Right.
My kids will come up to me and ask me for ice. Like Cameron will like come up to me all the time and be like, more ice? More ice?
Nice. That's awesome.
So this orange crush that I'm holding in my hand was for you guys as my reward for high score this week. But I haven't had a pop, I think, since July.
Oh, congrats. That's awesome.
That's impressive, dude. I
Trying to cut the sugar down a little bit.
That's a smart play. We all should probably do that. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Nice one, man. That's awesome. And congrats. I hope it tastes good because you earned it. Top score this week. Well played.
It is good.
Yeah, it is good.
I'm wearing orange.
I'm looking at you wear orange. All right. The Henry Ruggs picture
should have went out on the I'm wearing orange.
Yeah. The Henry Ruggs picture was supposed to be the last thing, so I guess we get to look at ice and each other and Mike wearing orange and Phil's orange crack. All right, another one in the back, guys. It's the last regular season week, and then we get playoff episodes. So let's go. Stay healthy. Can't wait. All right.
Be safe.
Thanks. Be safe. Be healthy. Yep.
Consolation, baby.
Nice. All right. Adios, amigos.
Stop recording.
There we go.